I'll be demonstrating how to add beads to your knitting using a crochet hook. I'm a big fan of this method because it allows me to add beads to a project without having to string all of the beads on ahead of time. You can add the beads where the pattern directs you to, or you can use the opportunity to embellish at will. To add beads to your knitting, you need some supplies. First of all, you need a small crochet hook. I'm using a 1mm crochet hook, and you'll need beads. The beads that I'm using are number 6 seed beads. You can see why we need such a small crochet hook, because the bead has to slide easily onto the hook. If you use larger beads, then you can go with, of course, a little bit larger of a crochet hook. So I recommend when you are purchasing the beads to take your yarn with you or your crochet hook, and make sure that you can get the bead onto the crochet hook and pull your yarn through. So let's see how we can add beads to our knitting. So first of all, I'm going to knit to the spot where I would like to add the beads. And as I said earlier, you can do this at any point in your project. So if this is the stitch where I want to add the beads, the first thing I'm going to do is take my crochet hook. And if you get really, really close, if I put it here, I think you can see there's a tiny little burr or just a very small hook here on this. So this is what's going to grab our yarn. But first, we're going to place our bead on the crochet hook. You can see that I have a tiny little container here. It helps keep my beads from running away. So once my bead is on the crochet hook, I'm going to enter the stitch where I want the bead on, just enter it as if to purl, and slip that stitch onto the crochet hook. Now the next piece, you can let go of your knitting or whatever works easiest for you. We need to pull this loop of yarn or that stitch through the bead using our crochet hook. And that little tiny burr is going to catch your yarn and pull it through. Once the bead is on the stitch, I'm going to take this loop, place it back onto my left-hand needle, remove the crochet hook, and then I will knit that stitch. And now you have a bead placed. So let me knit a couple more stitches and I'll show you that one more time. Take our crochet hook, place a bead on the crochet hook, enter the stitch as if to purl, and put the stitch on the crochet hook. Now we're going to pull that stitch through the bead. Sometimes it can be a little snug. Now place that stitch back on the left-hand needle, and then go ahead and knit the stitch. And there you have beads in your knitting. Happy knitting!